And we're back with Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition, Root of All Evil, Episode 2. Now, when we left off, Pastor Tanya and Regina were at Angela's house in Denver, and they were having a little powwow about Q. Regina told Angela don't ask no questions she was not ready for the answer to, basically. Meanwhile, back in North Carolina, LJ's on the phone with Captain Arrington. LJ's been keeping up with the case because the night that Jessica attacked Miss Cheryl, she also hit Stephanie with the door and knocked her out cold and got into a little rumble in the jungle with his wife Regina, so he has a vested interest in the outcome. In addition, he's been working with them to try to find Brielle, the paralegal from his sister Lauren's law firm. Captain Arrington tells LJ that they cannot find Jessica. It's like she fell off the face of the earth. They found the car she was driving. It was owned by the firm, where she works with Marcus. It was abandoned in the woods, and Captain Arrington said that the whole driver's seat was covered in blood. At this point, no one has seen or heard from her since. LJ and his team don't have any leads either, but they've been following every person that they know is associated with Jessica. LJ tells Captain Arrington, listen, man, I know her type. I know she's not going to stop until she finds Angela. Captain Arrington says, where is Angela? Do you know? LJ says, of course I know. She's someplace safe. Captain Arrington says, well, I need to know where she is. I need to talk to her. I need to send somebody to go and interview her and get her side of the story, see if we can get more information so that we might be able to track her down. LJ says, nah, I can't give you that information. Just know that she's no longer in your jurisdiction. So even if I did tell you where she is, you wouldn't be able to just go and interview her. Captain Arrington says, listen, LJ, I'm doing you a solid. You came to me and asked me to help you, and so I've been helping you, and you're supposed to be helping me. What happened to one hand washing the other? LJ says, right, but this is family. Captain says, come on, man. You know that you have no business withholding information about an attempted murder case. LJ says, listen, I'm not saying I'll never tell you. If it comes down to it, if it becomes important that I tell you, then I'll absolutely tell you. But as of right now, that's not information that I'm going to share. The captain says, okay, well, I have some other news for you. We found Brielle. Well, we found her body. LJ says, oh, man, no. Captain Arrington says, yeah, I'm sorry to tell you. LJ says, what happened? Captain Arrington says, well, her car was ran off the road, flipped over a few times, and landed upside down in a ravine. And guess what? There's CCTV footage. LJ says, and what did it show? Captain Arrington says, well, it shows Jessica in her own car running Brielle off the road. And then she just keeps going. LJ says, in her own car? So that means this happened before she went to the assisted living facility? Captain Arrington says, yeah, it was around 12:45. At that moment, LJ realizes that when Jessica lost Delaney on the highway because of the 7-car pileup, that she went directly after Brielle. Captain Arrington says, and when we got subpoena for her cell phone records, the last text was from Jessica, and it was pretty ominous. LJ says to Captain Arrington, Captain, you got any connections in Denver? At that moment, Q calls LJ to let him know that he and Bernie just made it back to Denver. LJ says, yo, Q, stay by the phone and stay up. Q says, it's a problem? LJ says, stay up. Q says, I got you. Q looks over at Bernie and says, Bernie, we're going to have to get your truck unloaded another time. We're going to have to drop it off and hop in my truck so I can get over to the house with Angela. Bernie looks at him and says, is everything okay? Q says, doesn't look like it. LJ leaves his office and heads over to his sister Lauren's law firm, where he breaks the news to her, and she completely breaks down. She loses it. All of the partners and the other lawyers in the office come running to see what's going on, and he informs all of them about Brielle's death. LJ then starts a conference call with all of the PIs from his office, his wife Regina, and Q. Regina tells LJ that she doesn't think it's a good idea to tell Angela right now because she's been in a lot of pain, and Regina's considering taking Angela to the ER. Q tells Regina not to leave the property until he gets there. He's about 30 minutes away. Meanwhile, back in North Carolina, Marcus is over at Miss Brenda's house picking Melissa up. Miss Brenda's been babysitting Melissa since Marcus has had custody and he's been back at work. And Miss Brenda is begging and pleading and doing everything she can to get Marcus to forgive his half sister Marcia. When Marcia came by and recognized Melissa as her college roommate's daughter, they put two and two together and figured out how Jessica knew so much about Marcus's life, his marriage, and his wife Angela. Marcus is upset because from his standpoint, there would be no reason for his sister to discuss him, his life, his business, or anything with any of her friends. Miss Brenda's also trying to convince Marcus to give Marcia LJ's phone number so that Marcia can help LJ with the investigation. Marcus is stubborn, and he figures that if LJ knows where his wife is and he won't tell him, then he's not going to help him with his investigation. Miss Brenda says, Marcus, you have to know that your sister didn't have any bad intentions. She wasn't conspiring with Jessica. She was simply having innocent conversation with her friend, like most people do. Oh, I'm going to my brother's wedding this weekend. Oh, my brother and his wife are doing this. Those are normal conversations that people have with their friends. Marcus says, but I don't discuss my family's business with my friends. Miss Brenda says, Marcus, you don't have any friends, baby. Maybe if you had some friends, you'd understand. Or you wouldn't have made such a mess of your life. All of this wouldn't be going on if you had a few good friends. Marcus got upset and he says, I'm tired of everybody telling me what could have happened if this or if that. But nobody's telling me how to put the pieces back together. Nobody's telling me how to find my wife. Nobody's telling me what to do. Everybody wants to talk about what's already done. It's water under the bridge, Mom. Miss Brenda says, oh, they raise their voices at their mothers now. Oh, okay. Ooh, baby, I know for a fact you going through it now. Because first you start lying to me. Now you're raising your voice at me. Oh, yeah, you definitely in a bad way, baby. Have you been praying? Have you talked to Jesus? You know, you can get Jesus on the main line and tell him what you want. Marcus says, Mom, this is not the time to be playing. Like, I'm so serious. Miss Brenda says, playing? Who's playing? Baby, I'm over here trying to keep from knocking your head between the washer and the dryer. And you think somebody playing? You created this situation, and you are looking for somebody else to blame. Forgive your sister. And take the time to sit down and talk with her so that you can find out just how much Jessica knows. And connect her with LJ. LJ's a private investigator, baby. He's a professional. He's going to know how to question your sister so that he can find out as much information as possible to be able to figure out where Jessica is. Because he's got to keep your wife and your baby safe. Marcus says, my wife and my baby? Baby? Miss Brenda says, Melissa, your baby, Melissa. Marcus says, oh, okay. LJ gathers Melissa and heads out to his car, and when he gets in the car, he calls LJ on the phone, and LJ says, what's up, Marcus? It's about time. Marcus says, whatever, man. Listen, I need to sit down and talk with you. Me and my sister, we think we know exactly how Jessica managed to find Angela and I. LJ says, your sister? Marcus says, apparently they were college roommates. LJ says, that makes perfect sense. Of course, she talked about her life and her brother and his life with her college roommate, and Jessica probably pretended like she had no idea who Angela was. Marcus says, you say that like that's normal, like people do that all the time. LJ says, it is. People do it all the time. Now, how soon can you and your sister get into my office? I really need to see you ASAP. I have some news. Marcus says, what kind of news? Where my wife is? LJ says, no, Brielle is dead. Marcus says, who? Jessica's best friend. My sister's paralegal. Marcus says, and that's connected to this situation. How? LJ says, Jessica killed her best friend when she realized that her best friend works for your wife's attorney. LJ told Marcus about the day that he followed the recipient of that package to the law firm, and Jessica followed him there. Marcus says, and that was the same day that Jessica attacked Miss Cheryl? LJ says, precisely. Marcus says, so she's a killer? LJ says, yep, and you got a baby with her. Marcus says, she's pregnant. LJ says, Nigga, what?